So here's a little bit of something different I'm working on. I'm gonna be gone for over a week here pretty soon, and we got a couple of plants to keep watered in pots, right? Uh, Typically, I just come out here with a hose and blast everything off, and like maybe about 10-15 minutes, just spraying each quadrant by hand. They stay moist for like a couple of days this time of the year. Last year, what I did when I was away is I just kind of put everything over like a plastic tarp, watered it in really good, and crossed my fingers that it didn't get too hot and everything dried out, and that we got a little bit of rain, and it turns out everything was just fine. But that was pretty messy because the tarp got kind of gross, and then I had to clean up all the dirt off the tarp, and it was kind of annoying. And it's not a permanent solution to the problem. And the tarp kind of was like, you pretty much got to throw it away or find some other gross use for it. So I was thinking, well, I need to do something. And what's something like low tech that we could do? So I've got a valve over here that I installed a long time ago, when I had less plants. I had maybe like 10 plants out here, and so I could do the drip irrigation, right? So I have all this drip irrigation stuff that I used back then to keep everything alive. It was back when the red Jabo was just a little tiny guy. I guess it was more like 6 years ago, but anyways, so I thought, well, I've got a lot of plants that I got to water. I can't use like these stakes on each of them individually, but I thought, well, I've got a pretty good radius, so what if I just put them like here, or I could hang them from my lights or whatever to have like a, kind of a bootleg overhead irrigation system. Now, one thing that I'm going to try too is, let me just turn these on. You can see, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and I'll show what it looks like afterwards, but let's turn the valve on here. Oof. And yeah, so these little bubblers, you can actually turn them up. They got a pretty good radius. It's like, like 3 to 5 feet, somewhere in there. So if you put one on each end of this guy, I could pretty much just water this entire area. So I can stack these things up on these little racks here, and then put stuff all around it on the floor. So that kind of covers like most of these things. I can just run the drip irrigation, maybe once in the morning before the sun comes up, and then again around noonish to 1, just to finish off, or just to keep it from drying out. So maybe like 15 minutes each, right? The other thing you can do is put them on the edge of your pots and just cluster them together like this. So, this isn't like a permanent solution, but for me, just getting through the 7 to 10 days that I'm gone, this gives me some peace of mind. These things definitely won't dry out, even if they're not getting watered super well. At least buffer it a bit, but I feel like this is probably going to be more than enough. So I want to come up with like a more permanent solution. Actually, you can kind of see pretty well like the range on that. But I want to come up with a more permanent solution, or something close to permanent, because like it's kind of a pain in the butt. You got this big, was it 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch pipe? I think it's a 1/2 inch pipe. Just on the floor. Maybe I can get like a heavy rubber mat to put over here, and then you can just run it along the edge and keep it out of the way, so you're not tripping over it. And then you can kind of just run these little individual, was it 1/2 inch? I don't know what are these little tubes called. These little 1/2 inch tubes. The Orbit, it should tell me on here what the size is. Does not say. Does it say on the tubing? No. I probably have it over here. Let's see. This guy's definitely got it on there. Yeah, 1/4 inch. So it's 1/4 inch drip tubing, and that's 1/2 inch pipe coming from my valve over there. So yeah, anyway, so I'm thinking of just having like an array of these, and you could pretty much just kind of dangle them either up there, or put a wire on the lights that I have, or if you have something similar set up, and just hang it from there and have, you know, maybe have it run along down there, you know, go up and then pull them across, and you could have some nice overhead. And even if you wanted to be, you know, I guess it's about as clean as it can get without getting in the way. You just dangle the sprinklers overhead. But anyways, I'm gonna come up with something, and I don't know, maybe I'll do another video instead of stitching it together on this one, because I got a few days to think about it. But let's see. Yeah, so I'll just post this one for now, and y'all can tell me whether or not there's a better way of doing this. At least for temporary, I don't think there's much better I can do, but if anyone has any opinions on something more permanent, let me know. Take care, y'all.